Yeah, ma'am is joined. Joseph muted. Dear all, ma'am, yes,
Sir, I'll
ma'am
just
is
try.
joined. Yeah. Please proceed, ma'am. Please proceed. Take your
Sir,
time,
I'll
ma'am.
just try to share my screen.
Yeah. I'm getting you. Yes,
Sure.
ma'am. It is showing. It is showing.
Sure, sir, I'll share. Sir, is there any time limit now?
Ma'am, you can proceed till 3 o'clock, ma'am. Is it okay, ma'am?
3. Okay. I'll just try to wind it up, sir. No
Please,
problem.
please. Thanks for understanding.
No problem, sir. Sir, hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear. Clear.
Right, sir. Very sorry for audience for the interruption. So I was just trying to speak about the storytelling. It is something like I was trying to connect it is like a secret weapon, right? And I was also mentioning that we all like good stories. That's why we just read books or we watch movies, everything. Now, the point I was trying to tell was stories, it humanizes whatever is your message. And you can make it more relatable, isn't it? So stories also, they spark emotions and it helps people connect with mainly with your ideas. Say when you tell a story, it's like you are planting a seed in your audience mind and that grows with them long after, say, even your presentation ends, they'll be having that in their mind. So you all must be wondering how to use stories like a pro. So first thing I would like to say is personal experiences. Try to share a funny or even a embarrassing story from your own life. People love when you show them you are also a human. Right, believe me. Then analogies. Try to simplify those complex ideas. Try to link them to something people already understand. Something like you can try to explain teamwork. How do you want to simplify that? You can tell that you can relate it to a football team. You can say that you can't win with just one superstar. Right. This is how you start explaining your teamwork. Then, most importantly, humor. A little humor, it goes a long way. But one thing, just don't overdo it because your lecture or your presentation, it is not like something like a stand-up comedy, but joke or an anecdote that can keep your room energetic. Say you are teaching chemistry. Why don't you tell a story? Audience, I request you to please mute yourselves. Suppose you are teaching chemistry. Uh, Try to tell a story about your first failed experiment and how actually it helped you understand a concept better. Now, believe me, your students will love it. And even according to Stanford research, it says that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story rather than just giving them a random fact. So, next time you step in front of an audience, think, how can I make this conversation? Yes, not just a lecture. Okay? Right. Then developing engaging presentation structure. First thing is introduction. This is your chance to grab your audience attention right away. You can start strong by using something that will immediately interest them, whether it is a surprising fact, a thought-provoking question, or even an applicable story. Now, this not only gets them occupied, but also you're trying to set the tone for rest of your presentation. Once you have their attention, you can quickly establish the relevance of your talk. Let them know why what you are about to share is important to them. And also be sure to clarify your purpose. What do you want them to walk away immediately with after this talk? So a strong, clear opening, it sets expectations and it keeps your audience focused throughout. Next thing is the body. This is where you dive into the core of your presentation. But here is the key. You want to keep it organized and make it easy to follow. Why don't you break your main ideas into 3 or 4 clear sections? Means each section should build on the last. It's guiding your audience through through the material, especially in a logical order. The transitions become crucial here. Please use phrases like, now let's move on to, or next we will be covering this. Means you are signaling your audience where you are going next. And you're also helping your students or your audience follow along. Now, visuals, it could be like slides, charts, or short examples can really make some difference too. Because they help to break the information and it keep your people aligned. See, the goal here is to make it easy for your audience. Means they're able to follow what you're trying to tell. They're able to follow the flow. They're not getting lost or they're not even getting overwhelmed. Right? The goal is to make it easy for your audience. Next thing, your conclusion is your final opportunity to leave a lasting impression. So make it count. Start by quickly summarizing the key points you have discussed. Now, this will be helping you to reinforce the information and also it ensures that your audience leave with a clear understanding of what all you have covered. Then also give them something to do with that particular information. Now, this is where your call to action comes in. See, what do you want them to do next? Whether it is practicing new skills or applying what they have learned in your session, give them something concrete to act on. And to wrap up, try to end it with a strong closing thought. So this could be like a memorable quote, a challenge, or even a question that keeps them thinking long after your presentation ends also. Creating compelling visuals. Data visualization. See, when you are presenting, data, charts, graphs, diagrams are your best friends. They are a great way to turn those complex numbers and information into something clear and as well as easy to understand. Right? How do you feel if you see this image, if you see this chart? Right? Instead of showing that long list of stats, use a bar graph, use a pie chart, or even a line graph to visually highlight the key trends or comparisons. Means this not only makes the data more digestible, but also helps your audience to quickly grasp the main points. So the best visuals are simple and to the point, no need to overload the chart with too many details. That is the important thing. And focus on the key takeaways. Plus, a well-designed graph, it can speak volumes in just a few seconds, right? And it makes your message more powerful, more memorable. And coming to images and illustrations. So please don't underestimate the power of a good image. Pictures, illustrations, and even infographics, it can really add life to your presentation. They break up the text, right? Making your slides more attractive and less boring as well. So an image, it can help explain a concept faster than your words can. Suppose I'm trying to show a picture of a scientist who is working in a lab or a diagram of a complex process. This can make my point much clearer than me trying to describe that picture, isn't it? Or describe what that particular person is doing or trying to describe that complex process. As well, your visuals can spark emotions. It can make your presentation more memorable. So just be sure to choose images that are relevant and it help emphasize what you are trying to talk about. So please don't add them for decoration purpose. So when you use it right, visuals can help your audience connect with your message, especially on a deeper level. So please remember, visuals are there to enhance your message and not distract from it. Then, improving verbal delivery. First thing is voice modulation. One of the most powerful tools in your verbal delivery is your voice. It's not, say, just about what you say, but how you say it. Varying your tone, pace, volume, it can help your audience absorb. They can absorb what you're trying to tell them and prevent your voice from sounding flat or going with that monotone. Say, for example, you have to slow down when making a important point to let in sink in minds of your audience. And you have to speed up when talking about something exciting, or if you want to build energy, you have to speed up. So changing your tone, say higher for excitement, lower for emphasis, it always modulations will help underline or highlight your message. So adjusting volume also helps. Try to raise your voice to emphasize a key idea and try to lower it when you want to draw your audience in. So voice modulation makes your delivery dynamic and also keeps your listeners hooked. And eye contact, it is a subtle, but incredibly it is an effective way to attach with your audience. When you make eye contact, right, with the people in the room, it makes them feel like you are speaking directly to them. And also it creates a personal connection and shows that you are dedicated to them, not just reading from your slides or from your notes. That doesn't help. Now, eye contact also helps you to gauge if at all your audience are following you. But please don't overdo it by staring at one person the whole time, but try to make that eye contact with the different people throughout the room, because everyone, each one of your audience, they are important to you. So in this way, you can keep the energy flowing as well as you can keep the audience engrossed. Then gestures. So using natural, purposeful hand gestures when you're trying to explain something, it can really enhance your verbal delivery, right? So gestures help to emphasize key points. It adds visual interest and make you seem more animated and passionate about what you're talking about. Suppose, say you are explaining a concept with multiple steps. Now you can use your hands to show the progression, step by step, something like that. Now, this not only helps your audience understand, but also makes you seem you are more confident and you are connected to your message, right? They are connected to your message. But one thing I would like to mention it here, just keep those gestures natural. Don't exaggerate it. Don't overdo it. If all the time, if I keep doing this thing, showing some hand gestures only, what is happening? I'm distracting you from listening what I'm trying to tell you, right? So too many gestures can become definitely distracting. So try to use them deliberately to reinforce what you are trying to tell. Then, overcoming stage fright and anxiety. So preparation. One of the best ways to combat stage fright or stage fear, in simple words, it is by being well prepared. The more familiar you are with your material, the more confident you will feel when you step in front of your audience. So practicing your presentation multiple times, it helps you, say, smooth out any rough spots, and the repetition, it gives you a sense of control. So the key here is practice. Don't just read your slides or notes, but try to rehearse out loud as if you are presenting to a live audience. So the more prepared you are, the less you will rely on your notes and the more natural your delivery will feel, which in turn it will be also reducing your anxiety. Then visualization. It is a powerful tool in overcoming stage fright. Before, say, even you step onto the stage, try to take a moment to close your eyes. Try to imagine yourself presenting confidently. Means picture yourself speaking clearly, interacting with your audience, and finishing the presentation with a sense of accomplishment. So visualizing success, it helps trick your mind into believing it is possible. Means it is boosting my confidence as well it is reducing my nervousness. So the more vividly you imagine a positive outcome, the more likely it is to happen. Trust me. So take a few quiet moments to visualize a successful presentation of yours and feel the calmness take over. Suppose your anxiety kicks in. Deep breathing, it is one of the quickest ways to regain control. Slow, deep breaths, it can help your nervous system. It can calm down your nervous system. It can reduce tension. It can also reset your body to a more relaxed state. So before stepping on stage or during the moments of worry, right, try taking a few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hold it for 7 seconds. Okay? 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then you can exhale from this nostril for 8 seconds. So we call this as 4-7-8 technique of deep breathing. You can do this a few times. Means it helps you regulate your breathing and it clears your mind. Please try this immediately after our class. So this is a simple technique that can have a huge impact on managing nerves and you can even stay focused, right? So stage fright is something everyone faces. You face it, I face it at some point. But the answer is not letting it control you. You have to control it. For that, you have to be well prepared, visualize your success, and you can use these deep breathing to stay calm as well as centered. Means these strategies will help you build confidence. You can stay relaxed and deliver your presentation, especially with ease. Then incorporating interactive elements. First thing is encouraging questions throughout your presentation. It can really make a difference. Instead of waiting until the end, you can invite your audience to ask questions as you go along. I'm especially speaking this for the physical lectures. So this will here you will be creating a conversation rather than one-way lecture. And also it helps keep everyone engaged. It also gives you a chance to clarify any points in real time, making sure your audience fully understand what you're talking about. You can ask open-ended questions to get people thinking, or even you can invite them to share their thoughts. So this not only fosters their commitment, but makes the whole experience feel more interactive, more personalized. Then polls. They are a great way to keep your audience interactive. And also you can check in on their understanding. You can use simple online tools to conduct polls during your presentation or asking questions that gauge how well your audience are following you or what is their opinion about this topic. So polls serve as a great icebreaker or even it serves as a discussion starter. By asking for real-time feedback, you create a sense of involvement and it shows your audience that their thoughts are also valued by you. Plus, the results, it can spark further conversation, isn't it? So it helps you guide your next points. In polls, they are an easy, interactive way to break up the presentation and also to keep the energy up. Group activities, or you can even call them as breakout sessions. They are an excellent way to get people collaborating and also learning by doing. Rather than just sitting and listening, students or instructors can dive into smaller groups, mainly to tackle a task or even they can discuss a topic in depth. So this can be as simple as a small brainstorming session, a problem solving exercise, or even like something like a quick discussion of key points. When people work together, it encourages active learning. It gives a deeper engagement with the material. So you can ask groups to share their ideas afterwards, right? Means you're creating a larger conversation with everyone. It's a great way you can mix things up and give everyone a chance to participate, right? So interactive elements, they are not just fun. They are a powerful way to keep your audience gripped and make your presentation more memorable. So by incorporating all the above, you can make your presentation more dynamic and you can ensure that everyone stays involved and they are learning more effectively. So don't just talk at your audience, get them talking, get them thinking and collaborating with you. Then tailoring your approach for faculty versus students. Now I would like to take an example of Mahatma Gandhi ji. First, I'll speak about faculty. Say when presenting to teaching staff. So as I told you, let us take some famous figure like Mahatma Gandhi ji. Now you could delve into the philosophical and political dimensions of his leadership. For example, Gandhiji's concept of satyagraha, it was not just a political movement, right? Say you are giving your speech, you are giving your presentation to faculty. How you have to give it, I'm trying to tell that. I said Gandhiji's concept of satyagraha, it was not just a political movement, but a deep moral philosophy that also advocated for non-violence and truth. His approach, it drew from various religious and ethical traditions. It influenced the global civil rights movements, like Martin Luther King Jr.'s efforts in the US. Now, academic personnel, whatever I said, they would appreciate this deeper analysis. Along, you also gave the references to scholarly work. Means you are exploring Gandhiji's influence and how his leadership can be analyzed in the context of modern social movements. So you can encourage faculty, the knowledge providers, to discuss Gandhiji's philosophy in relation to contemporary issues or trying to compare it with other figures, somebody like Nelson Mandela or even modern activists. The focus here is academic with a theoretical and critical perspective. Suppose when you are presenting the same thing for your students. Now, how would your words should be, how you make your students understand. You want to make Gandhiji's message more accessible, more relatable. Say, for example, you might say, Gandhiji believed in standing up for what is right, but doing it peacefully. Think about times when you have had a disagreement. Uh, how would you feel if you choose not to argue, but instead calmly explained your point of view? So Gandhiji taught that fighting with words, not violence, is a more powerful way of creating change. Now, this connects Gandhiji's non-violent philosophy to everyday situations students can relate to, like handling the conflicts maybe with their classmates or with their family, right? You can also use practical examples. What if you could make a difference in your school or community by organizing a peaceful protest, like a petition or like a peaceful march to stand up for a cause you all care about? Here, with this difference, you are encouraging your students to think about how they can apply Gandhiji's teachings into their own lives. So why did I tell these two differences? Main thing is tailoring the example to your audience. It is something different for faculty level. It is something different for research scholars. It is different for UG students. Yeah, even for PG students. Now, tailoring it to your audience helps them engage with the material in a way that makes sense to them. That is the point. Right? Okay. And practicing and receiving feedback. Practice. Think of your presentation like a sports game. Just like the athletes, they need to practice before a match. Presenters also need to rehearse their delivery. For subject experts, so imagine you are explaining a complex topic. Okay, like climate change. You wouldn't just walk into the lecture hall without practicing the key points you want to make. Am I right? Right. Without preparation, we don't step into the class, right? So you might run through explaining how greenhouse gases contribute to global warming. You ensure that you can explain each concept clearly and confidently. For students, let us say you are presenting a book review. You have to practice reading your key points aloud. You should ensure your delivery is smooth and the key takeaways come across effectively. Right? Then try to speak at a steady pace and pause when you hit important points. You have to give a break, right? Then practicing will help you avoid stumbles and makes you more comfortable in front of an audience. Then feedback. Once you have practiced, it's time to gather feedback. This is where other people's perspectives are incredibly useful. Say for academicians, after presenting a section, maybe on the effects of social media on youth, you can ask a colleague, did I explain the theory clearly? Was the data, whatever I used, was it relevant? And your colleagues, they might suggest that you clarify a certain statistic or you use a different example. So this helps you. Then for students, say after practicing a presentation, maybe on a historical figure like Nelson Mandela, you can ask your peer, your classmate, was the introduction interesting enough? Did it grab your attention? Did I explain Mandela's leadership in a way that I could relate it to you? Yes. So the feedback you get helps you figure out what worked and what might need a little tweaking. Then refine. Once you have received feedback, it's time to refine your delivery. If someone pointed out that your examples weren't relatable enough, think about how you could use something familiar to your audience. For instance, say if you're talking about sustainability and someone suggested your examples were too complex, what you can do, you can refine it by sharing an example. Something like everyday examples like reducing plastic waste or by carrying reusable bags. For faculty members, refining might involve you can adjust your tone to make sure your audience stay engaged, maybe adding a personal story or a relevant current event to bring your research to life. So for students, it could mean something like trimming down the slides that are too heavy or adding more visuals to make your points more clearer and more engaging. So please remember the best presentations, they come from practice, from feedback, as well as from refinement. So practice helps you get the rhythm right. Feedback shows, it shows you what works and what doesn't. And refining is where you polish the rough edges, making your presentation not just good, but great, right? Sir, do we have time to take up a quiz or shall I just go ahead with conclusion? Dr. Neil?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. We can go with conclusion, ma'am.
Sure, sir.
We will do the same thing a little bit later, ma'am. We can plan accordingly.
Sure, no problem, sir. Fine. Yes. I just had a few questions, but due to some time constraints, I'll just go straightly with the conclusion. I would like to say effective communication and presentation skills, they are essential tools in both academic as well as in professional settings. See, while they are often used together, communication and presentation, they each serve distinct purposes in conveying the information. So communication skills help you share ideas. Presentation skills help you structure and deliver them effectively to your audience. So whether you are delivering a lecture, participating in a class discussion, or trying to present a project, honing both these skills will enhance your ability to connect with your audience. You can convey your ideas clearly and leave a lasting impression, right? Yes. As we come to the end of our session, sir, are there any questions to take up?
Ma'am, we have some issues also in the technical drift. Whatever the questions are there, I will collect and share with you little later, ma'am.
Sure, sir, sure. I can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am. Okay, thanks a lot for your availability, ma'am. I wholeheartedly thank you and give my head bow. We came to the end of as a vote of the thanks. As we ma'am started with two-way interaction, but due to some technical drift, I am facing some issues in the Zoom app also. Just now, I am thinking in my mind, we can conduct a 1 week FDP in the month of December. I request Dr. SRM ma'am can give 2 days lecture in the weekdays in the evening time. We can plan accordingly, ma'am. I will talk with you a little later about those things. In my mind, some other things also we can go with some proceedings with ISBN. All most of the professors from SIVT has participated. I can say able to see their names. we can get some articles. We can go with the ISB proceeding. Ma'am will edit the same. That we will discuss little later. Ma'am will give you a detailed input about the various things, developing the presentation skills and crafting compelling visuals, including images and illustration. It was very useful. This is a successful webinar on the effective communication and the presentation skill. The stylish presentation of the ma'am itself give the all the points are covered based on his live presentation. With the short vote of thanks, I would like to conclude the webinar. Thanks a lot for your availability, ma'am, in the leave days. Most of my woman colleague complaining about their work-life balance, ma'am has live example. Ma'am is very effectively handled the session. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for your availability. Thank you.
Sir, my heartfelt thanks to all the participants, especially on this Sunday afternoon time, for your time, attention, and engagement throughout the session. And a special thanks to the organizers of AGAR, Association of Global Academicians and Researchers, Tamil Nadu. And my special regards to Dr. Niaz Ahmed, sir, for providing us with such a great platform to connect, share, and learn. Thank you all once again.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you to all. Thank you. The meeting is ended now. Your participation certificate, you will get it tomorrow, all the participants. Thank you, ma'am. You will get the certificate of appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thanks for availability. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I
Thank
take
you.
the session?